host, Josh. And this episode is brought to you by Great Lakes Disc. Whether you're looking for cool new gear or your new favorite disc, Great Lake Disc has what you need. Click the Linktree link and you'll see the Great Lakes Disc link. Click that and start your shopping today. While you're on the Linktree, you'll also see a link for Idio Sports. If you want to take your game to the next level, make sure you get Idio shoes on your feet. The only disc golf shoes made by disc golfers for disc golfers. Also use my discount code discseeker to save money on your next order. Without further ado, I'll let my guest fully introduce himself, where he's from, and how he even got into disc golf.
Hey everyone, how's it going? My name is Henry Hegler. I'm from Raleigh, North Carolina. I've grown up there my entire life. How I got into disc golf when I was middle school, about sixth grade. My dad got some discs lent to him by a guy at work, and so we had three discs for three of us and him, and we would just take turns throwing at a local course. We would just go out there for fun. And then it became more of like a challenge type thing where if we could birdie a hole, he'd go buy us a new disc golf disc. And so we didn't birdie too much, so we didn't really get much. Over time, we got better. I took a few years off in between just playing middle school sports and stuff. And then when I went back to college, I got into it really heavily because I went up to Lynchburg and it's really big up there. Just I had a course that I could walk to on campus. And like five other courses within a 15-minute drive. So that was insane.
That's really cool. So, was there like any college disc golf, or were you and your buddies just kind of going off campus or close to campus and just playing?
So my good friend Dan got me playing disc golf a lot more, but I ultimately met him because my roommate freshman year convinced me to join Liberty's Ultimate Frisbee team, and I met Dan, and we just started after practice. We would go throw disc golf because he saw I had a bag, and we kind of just he was a big ultimate guy, but then the more and more we got into it, like, oh, let's look at this disc that's releasing. We got more into collecting side and just exploring the different options, and it snowballed from there.
That's pretty cool. Do you remember what your like first disc outside of the ones that you borrowed with your dad? Do you remember what your first couple discs that you bought were?
I bought three. I bought a driver, a mid range, and a putter. I bought a blue DX Beast from Innova, a orange DX Crow, and then a white DX Dart.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So, living in North Carolina, are you close to like all the major courses there, or is it like a kind of a drive?
No, I mean, I grew up in North Raleigh, so there's plenty of courses around. We got Cedar Hills, Buckhorn, all those, and then the big one that comes to mind for people in this area is Diavolo. That's always been about 30-ish minutes for me, so not too bad. And there's three or four different layouts of it you can play, and they've created a bunch more. It's a great course, always there for tournaments and stuff. And it's also really good when you're trying to introduce like and bring new people to play disc golf. It's like, oh, what's a good course? This one's on that world ranking list. This one stands out. So
Yeah. So, do you find yourself playing more casually or more on the competitive side, like doing tournaments and leagues?
I think I definitely do a lot more of the competitive side up until, I spoke with you before we got on air about I'm in a sort of a busy season of life. I just got married this past weekend and I bought a house 2 or 3 weeks ago. So it's been just a lot at once. Just had a few other things going on too. So up until the past couple months, there's a lot of competition for the past few years. I'd say probably 15 to 20 tournaments each year. I try to hit at least A tiers and B tiers, and then some C tiers, some local C tiers I'll do here and there. Some flex starts if I'm feeling like it one day after work. I'll just sign up last minute and go see what I can do. So
That's really cool. Do you remember what your first tournament was like and how nervous you were heading to it?
I wouldn't say I was nervous. I kind of just signed up with my friend Dan. There wasn't too many expectations. We just started slowly playing tournaments. It was like, oh, like this is fun, but these people are good. But it made me want to get a lot better. So I think, I am naturally a really competitive person. And this is just something that I felt like, unlike the other sports I played hockey for 15 years, and then I played ultimate in college. Instead of it being a team sport where, some of the stuff's outside your control as far as like what other people are doing and stuff, disc golf is like, if I succeed, great. That's, all the practice and stuff I put in. If I don't, then I can only point my finger at myself and look at where I messed up, which I really like that aspect of it.
Yeah. So playing so that since you played ultimate, like how much of ultimate has like carried over into disc golf for you, and do you feel like because you played ultimate you kind of had an upper hand playing against other people in disc golf?
I always wished I had done disc golf in college and just spent more time on that. Ultimate was just more of like I wouldn't say a social thing. It was, but then I wanted to be good at that. I was just everybody who was playing at that level had been doing it for such a long time that it was hard to come in and get all the angle control. It's completely different from throwing a disc golf disc as far as like floating it and all of that. And when I've been playing disc golf and even now, I'm dominantly forehand. So trying to switch to a touchy backhand, and so my backhand is also dominantly with my right hand, which I don't throw with in disc golf as much. So it was a big switch up. I wouldn't say it's carried over too much. It's helped with a few, touchy backhand shots if I'm trying to lay up and I have to use a stance where I have to throw with my right hand or something like that. It's definitely helped. I can switch back and forth with my hands pretty well. So yeah,
Wait, you can throw both righty and lefty?
yeah.
Oh my god, that's insane. Like how did you learn to do that?
Um, I've kind of always just switched back and forth with sports. I played hockey right-handed. Um, I've gotten into normal golf a little bit, and all my friends are right-handed, so I play golf right-handed. I think I'd be a little bit better if I played left-handed, but I've never tried. But so yeah, I mean, it's been a natural motion to throw disc golf left-handed, and then when I get to putting green, I putt right-handed.
Wow, that's crazy. That's very unique. So
Yeah.
when you practice, do you practice like throwing forehands with both hands, or just your dominant left, and then just kind of save your right hand for putting?
So I really got into throwing with my right hand. I used to get really bad blood blisters and just like uh, not bruises, blisters, just like blisters on my hand. I'd have to change my grip 5 and 6 times to be able to practice just because of how much I was out. I would tear my hand up to the point where it's just like I can't throw. So I was like, this happened in a tournament maybe once or twice, and it just like kind of ruined things. So I was like, I need to start coming up with a backup plan so I can still practice. So I slowly started working on that putting motion and changed into righty backhand. And so I have a righty backhand and lefty forehand, which everyone's like, that's the same thing. Yeah, it's the same thing, but whenever my left hand's not feeling great, it's hurting, it's blistered up, or I'm just not, even times that I'm not throwing the best. Like if I have an off day on the course and I'm in the middle of a round, I'll switch to a righty backhand just to, maybe this is going to be better. Maybe I can get more of a, synchronization or something going there.
Yeah. That would like twist with my mind. I'd be looking at you like, wait, did I just see you throw lefty and now you're throwing righty?
Yeah, I get a lot of that all the time. A lot of like, wait, aren't you've been throwing, where'd this backhand come from and stuff. And so yeah, it's funny to see people's reactions. So like that's the same thing. Do you do the same thing on the other side? And like not too much. I've been working a lot on trying to get a ready forehand together. But I do try to focus a lot on the lefty forehand and just kind of tweaking it so that I don't even I mean, it's good to need one to throw those shots that turn the other way, but I've been working a lot more recently on switching up my bag so I have more understable flippy stuff to cover those areas.
That's so crazy on how like you're coordinated enough to do that. Because if I were to try and use my left hand at all, it does not work. Like I can't do the steps right. It just doesn't work.
Yeah, no, I don't know what it is. I think I can. whenever I go out in the field and just kind of work on throwing, I can get my righty backhand up to about 250, 275 consistently. So I can reach a 315 sometimes. It's just, I'd rather focus less on power when it comes to my offside and just more of like controlling really where I'm trying to land.
Yeah. So since we're talking about field work, how do you practice? Do you do lots of field work or do you do tons of practice rounds?
I'm more of a practice round kind of person, especially if I'm about to have a tournament or something. I'll go throw the course a few times a week. I have a basket in the garage, so I do putting here and there. I don't like to overdo my putting because I'm just somebody who, I feel like if I practice too much, I'm gonna overthink it, especially when it comes to putting, and that's really easy to overthink. Even my wife has been like, when you just step up and just putt without going through and taking 30 seconds, it's usually a lot better. And it's like, yeah, I mean, I'll just go up, you feel it, you know what you need to do, and you just do it rather than trying to measure out exactly what I'm doing when it comes to putting. But yeah, no, I definitely practice more on the course. I just like experimenting different lines, different discs to have a plan for, if the wind's going this way or if this is happening, if it's raining, what do I need to do? So,
Yeah. So how do you get so confident in some of those long putts? Because I watched a couple of your reels where you just like they look like they're 40 footers and you just drain them like it's nothing. So where does that confidence come from?
um, I actually really dislike putting. I hate being within circle one because it's always like, oh, this is easy. Like you should make this, and then I just let myself down. So, the further the putt, I actually think I'm more confident. I'd rather have a 70 footer than like a 25 footer, just because I've worked on. I wouldn't say I work on power wise getting to the basket. I'm just like, okay, this is where I need to land in order to like slide up to the basket. So I plan more on being short of the basket rather than long. So I kind of would rather set myself up for a longer putt rather than, you know, overshooting the basket by 80 feet.
Yeah, that makes sense. Um, so when you have a tournament coming up and you're practicing for it, do you find yourself playing that course on repeat, or do you avoid that course and just kind of like pick a course that's kind of similar to prep at?
It definitely depends on the tournament. I go to Ledgestone a few like every year. I try to, and that's one where it's like you only go up there once a year. So I'm playing that course twice a day with my friends, and then we're just putting in the backyard for hours. So that's kind of the routine up there. If it's local, I'll try to get out to the course once or twice in the week, and then day before, I'll go throw whatever course is closest to me just to get some reps in and be like, oh, this is flipping this way, or I'm releasing this way, making sure everything's just flowing how it should. I'm not too concerned because I know a lot of the courses around here, and even like in the Charlotte area where I know what I would throw. So it's a lot of just making sure I feel like everything's flowing how it's supposed to.
Yeah. So what are your top 5 courses in your area?
Oh man, Diavolo has to be up there. It's just a really beautiful course. Really well maintained, really good fairways, and just a variety of holes. Buckhorn was just redone. It's a very, very tight wooded course up here with some water carries. That's got to be one of my favorites. If you're on and you're hitting your lines, it's just a really rewarding day to go out there. Um, what else? Are we talking in this specific area or just all of the state?
Well, anywhere in your state.
Then that would take me to Charlotte Nevin Park. They're kind of doing some construction down there with the Greenway Trail. But before with the Pro Tour Championship layout, that was in my top three of all time. It was such a good course. Another one of those tight wooded courses that's just so rewarding if you're hitting lines and your disc is flying how it's meant to fly. Hornet's Nest has to be up there too. Always a classic, just another, classic course. And then for my fifth, I'd say Cedar Hills. It's the course in Raleigh. If you're from here, everybody knows about it. It's the classic Raleigh course. It's the first course I ever played with my dad and stuff. So it's going back there and playing tournaments and stuff now. I'll go back with my dad. He used to just obliterate us, and now it's not even close. I'll go out there and he's such and such over, and I'm 9, 10 down. So
Does he still take you take do you still take him up on the offer to buy for him to buy you a disc?
I try to on the holes that you can eagle. I'm like, all right, if I eagle this, you can get me a disc. And he's like, sometimes he'll bite. Most of the time he won't. He's like, I've seen you do it before, so no. So
So what are the top 5 courses on your bucket list to travel around the country and play?
around the country, I want to go up to Maple Hill. That's definitely up there. Maple Hill, Brewster, all those up north. Those are two up there. My friend got to go to the Louisiana course that they played this year, and he only had one disc with him, and he said it was a nightmare. But I would love to go down there and just see what everyone was talking about. So I want to make it down there. What else? What other courses around here? I've been to Tiglo, I've been to Ledgestone. It'd be cool to play the not Music City Open course. That one's just ideal, it's just a cool one. And then probably a couple of the courses in Texas if I had to pick another two. Texas is cool. I've never really been out to the West Coast to play. So
Yeah. So do you prefer like open courses or tight wooded?
tight wooded courses. That's North Carolina golf. I'm not the farthest thrower. I'm throwing, 350 to four and a little over four on a really good day.
That's far for me. So
So I prefer a tight wooded course because it's at that point you have some holes where you need more power and you can kind of throw, but then a lot of it too is being able to have good judgment and make good reads as to what you need to do.
yeah. So what was it like having the Pro Tour come to your state?
That's kind of something that I've just always been spoiled with and been used to. The first Pro Tour tournament I went to was in Charlotte whenever they had Pro Tour Championship down there in 20. I don't remember. I can see the logo. It's the one where they had the crown and all the players jumping out of the crown. I think it may have been 21. I'm not sure. But no, yeah, that me and my friend Dan traveled down there and watched it, and it was just the coolest thing. I remember the first Pro Tour player that I recognized that I saw was Kyle Klein standing on the little dock there. I'm like, yo, that's Kyle. Coolest thing ever. And then, Paul and all these people out there. That was the year, whatever year Nathan Queen won, that was when we were down there. So it was cool to be down there. I've gotten used to, they've always had some sort of Pro Tour stuff here, and then USDGC is only 3.5 hours from me. So I get to go down there every year, which is cool. So yeah, I've been really spoiled. And then going up to Liberty, they started hosting stuff in Lynchburg at Ivy Hill in New London. I was there the day New London opened, and
Ooh,
I played the first Flex start at Ivy Hill. So it's like full circle to see them add those on tour and just see how those have changed.
yeah. So what is it like to caddy for a pro, and who has been your favorite pro to caddy for?
Ah, man, favorite pro. I gotta go with the person who gave me the first shot on the bag, and that's Evan Smith. Local to Raleigh. He's given me so much. So much to look up to as far as disc golf and stuff. How he carries himself when he's doing well, when he's not. I can't give that guy enough props for how he plays. How much practice I see and talk to him pretty regularly, and he's always just out practicing. He's always just excited about the sport, excited to get better, and excited to just try new discs and stuff. So it's always a good time just to watch him. Being our hometown hero here, everybody knows him, and it's exciting getting to watch him play. So he's definitely my favorite. It's been cool meeting some of the other guys I've become good friends with over the years, whether it's Sully or even Gannon or some of the other dudes as well. Ty Love, shout out to Ty. Ty is also a cool guy to spend some time with. I took him to his first hockey game, so that was cool.
That's
So
pretty
yeah,
cool. So is Gannon Burr like? Is he like when you talk disc golf with him? Is he really like that? knowledgeable about the game where he could just give you tons of information and just keep going?
Yeah. Yeah, he's knowledgeable. A lot of the time it's more of an unserious banter with him, especially when I'm there. I'm not saying that we're not serious, but he's just like he'll just walk up and watch this. I'm about to he just like it's just like he calls his shot. He knows exactly what's gonna do, and it's kind of like jaw dropping the way he just knows his bag, how each one of the discs flies and whatever. Watch this. The plans go like this, and then he's boom, perfect. Man, it must be nice to be able to know how to do it that well. It's
Yeah.
yeah.
So what things have you learned over the years of watching the pros in person or even talking to them?
Um, there's a lot I was still learning, especially with the mental side of things, as far as how you carry yourself, being patient and trusting the process, and um, that's actually something that's been on my mind a lot recently. Watching the events over in Europe and stuff. One person I haven't gotten to talk to, who I really want to talk to, is Calvin, just because he seems like Mister No Emotion whatsoever. He could miss a putt here that's really important or lose a lead. And it's just, I just wanted to know how that guy's just no emotions whatsoever. Because, myself and most of the people show visible frustration on a course, especially when things aren't going our way or whenever we feel like something should go one way and it doesn't. It's easy to beat yourself up. But as far as what I've learned, just like small tweaks that, can save me strokes here and there. A lot of tournament prep as far as stretching, stuff like that, routines, the importance of those. I've really seen that. Um, I've learned a lot about different discs as well. As far as I get some insider info from people, as far as like this is the best run of this, or this is good, this is not as good. You just So I think I've built a pretty decent bag based on what I've heard, but yeah.
Yeah. So when you're talking about routine and stretching, do you have like a pre-tournament routine and stretches that you do, or do you just kind of one of those guys that just shows up, walks to your hole, and gets started?
No, I used to be more of the walk to my hole, get started, didn't really have a routine. I have a routine of like waking up at a certain time, making sure I eat, maybe take a short nap here, or just like listen to some music and get outside and stretch some. I have adopted um a version of Gannon's pre like round practice routine, just as like whole stretching thing of getting your hips loose is a big thing I never really focused on is my hips. I was more of like arms, shoulders, do a couple of squats and stuff here and there to get your legs engaged and whatnot. But the importance of being able to open up your hips and your back and just feeling like free, mostly in your core area, is really important. So I've adopted that a lot. And then even just some of the putting routines of his as well, because he focuses his putting routine is a few close, and he's working on, the floatier, longer putts, even in his pre-round routine. So doing that too.
Yeah. Yeah, I would love to talk to Gannon. I have like so many questions for him, and he sounds like a guy that would just like sit for hours and just talk.
Yeah, no, he's a fun guy. I haven't talked to him much because he's in Europe and international men's can run up real fast when you're on the phone with him because he likes to start singing and stuff like that. So
Yeah. So you mentioned a few minutes ago about your bag. So what is in your bag, and what are you throwing this year?
oh man, what is in the bag? I have a few different brands in there just that I've acquired from different people. A lot of Discraft I've always loved and collected a lot of Discraft. And um that's what makes up most of my bag. I have 3 Flight Lab discs in there right now that I'm testing out and just messing around with. Um I have a couple dynamics discs, and do I have anything else? DGA. DGA. Gotta have some DGA in there. But
Yeah.
that primarily and some Discmania, of course. Just like I said, it's a mixed bag of what I've acquired from people. And, you know, my putters, I putt with P2s right now. It's between P1s and P2s. I may switch back to P1s. But Evan gave me a stack of 10 P2s whenever he switched to Discraft. So, I mean, I wasn't going to turn that down. I'm like, well, might as well just put with P2s. I got a stack of practice putters.
Yeah.
And yeah, I got my dynamic stuff from him and Ty when he left Dynamic. I was just buying his dynamic stuff and getting whatever he didn't need anymore. And then this year, he made the move I've been waiting for about 5 plus years now, which is going to Discraft. I was so excited because I was like, this is it. Finally, he's going to get the stuff I've been waiting for. And then he came to me and was like, you know, Discraft. You study Discraft religiously. What's the good stuff and what's the bad stuff? And he knows I have, and I'm actually looking at them right now. They're all the boxes in front of me from moving. And it's the boxes of just all of my collector Discraft stuff. He's like, I need to go through it. I need to pick out some stuff.
Yeah.
So he took my, my good throwing Luna, my bottom stamp All Open Luna, and he just, it was beautiful pink swirly Luna. Evan Smith just wrote it right on the top, and I was like, "Okay, yep, let's just ink up my Luna like that. That's great." Which, the guy gives me so many discs, I can't complain. But it was such a pretty disc. But
Yeah.
yeah,
So you
so a
being
lot
a
of disc craft. Sorry, continue.
go ahead. Go ahead.
No, the bag is just a lot of disc craft. I've had really great experience with them. I know a lot of people who throw on underground and stuff. I'd love to join underground one day. But yeah, a lot of disc craft.
That's really cool. So you being a forehand guy, did you ever throw the sake bomb felon?
I have thrown the felon a few times. I got a few from Evan and tested them out. I was never. This sounds bad. This is no disrespect to Ricky. I was never a Ricky fan. I was always, a Paul fan. Met
Yeah.
Paul at the New London opening. I've gotten to know him a little bit better. So I was never really a Ricky fan. His like he has a certain energy and stuff, and that's great, and that appeals to most people. I'm just like not really in the Ricky crowd. I don't dislike him. He's just not somebody I keep up with as much as other players. But that kind of like up until Evan joined Dynamic, I had never touched a Dynamic disc. It was always Discraft Innova or Discmania. And so when he went there, I started experimenting more with it. And I found a few discs that I really liked. And the Felon was nice. I feel like I just had that spot filled already with something I was comfortable with. So I didn't ever really add it to my bag full time.
Yeah. So July 16th, the new intent drops. So that's the disc that's going to replace the sake bomb felon. And it
Really?
is amazing. I would highly suggest you get one and test it out. Like you're gonna fall in love with it.
Oh man. Oh, I'm definitely gonna have to now.
Yeah, it's like so I throw a forehand flex, and the Sakuban felons are for me are aggressive S curve, and
Hmm.
then they dive down pretty hard. The intent is a glidey curve, like it just glides beautifully and then gently goes down to the ground, and
Oh,
it's easy distance.
oh, that sounds nice. No, yeah, I definitely play the S line a lot.
Yeah,
I pick. I even have. I don't have a tilt in my bag anymore. I have a splice. I love to throw that on some Annie and just like watch it fade out. If I need, if I have tight corners or something like that, I love a good splice shot. So no,
yeah,
I'll definitely have to check that out. The
yeah,
glide to it sounds pretty good for a lot of the courses around here where you have to, especially being left-handed. There's a lot of shots sometimes that you kind of need to hold and just kind of glide out slower than others. So
yeah, yeah. Definitely, as soon as it drops, definitely get yourself one because you're gonna love it.
cool. I'll be sure to watch out for it.
Yeah. So if you were get interviewed for like your dream sponsorship deal and they came to you and they asked you what makes you such a unique player that stands out, what would you say?
I think, you fill out these applications to be on teams here and there, whether it's an ambassador, sponsorship, or something like that. There's always a question that's like that of what sets me apart from other people. And I would say one, lefty forehand, always unique. Makes for some good clips and stuff. I think another thing that sets me apart is, I get to be up close and personal with a lot of these guys that a lot of not a lot of people get the chance to be around and hang out with, whether that's Gannon, Evan, Ty, Sully, just hanging out, talking to these dudes. They're awesome people, down to earth people. Really enjoy hanging out with them. So there's a lot of opportunity to, share brands, share who you are, share what a brand is. And that kind of means a lot to me because these people have shown me why they trust the brands the way they do and the way that, Evan represents his brands, even back to his core store sponsorship of Yeet Street, who, I'm an ambassador for too. It's really cool to see how, when somebody's loyal to something, they really stand behind it and there's reasons why. And, one of my favorite parts of disc golf, and another thing I'd say sets me apart, one of my favorite things that I found most rewarding is introducing people to disc golf. It's more rewarding than, tournaments sometimes because those you can just let yourself down, but just, getting people who have never tried it before to pick up a disc and see them, oh, this is, get them hooked on it and wanting to come back and do it again. You can like really pitch a brand to them. I pitch Discraft a lot to people. I'll pitch Flight Lab to people. Discraft is the big one of like, this is what I trust and this is what I throw and this is why. So it's really, I'd say that's kind of what sets me apart is I really just love sharing the sport and whatever brand I find is the best is the one that I'm going to always recommend to somebody. I've built 2 or 3 people's bags based on what I have in my bag, so it's a lot of Discraft.
That's pretty cool. So what? Why Discraft? Like, what drew you to Discraft?
Okay, so everyone's like, "You're on the Discraft bandwagon." Yeah, no. Long before the Discraft bandwagon existed. Um, if you throw Discraft, you know that they emboss lettering on the inside of their discs.
Yes.
And as a guy who throws only forehands, and I'm always constantly, flipping my disc around looking for a grip spot, the main lettering of like, let's say I'm throwing a force and it has the force embossed on the inside, the big lettering of the disc that I'm throwing is always going to be my grip point. So I have a consistent grip point where I know my thumb's going to go and everything, and my inside finger's the same spot every time. Throwing a forehand when it's raining is not the easiest thing.
No, it's hard.
Um, so that is also another like just mainly the embossing just really got me hooked on it because it was a consistent grip point and there was just extra grip when it was rainy or just it was humid outside and I couldn't really get a grip. You just have the extra point of contact. That's been really helpful.
Yeah, yeah. I've my buddy Chris. He throws a lot of Discraft at times. His bag is always changing, but at one time he had a lot of Discraft in, and I remember picking up one of his discs with the one time, and I felt the lettering on the inside. I'm like, ooh, this is interesting.
Yeah, no, it definitely helps out a lot. Um, I've never been a real big chalk person. I've started using it more and more. Humidity gets worse and worse. It's definitely helpful. But whenever I don't have chalk in my bag, which I'll lose it sometimes, or you just it falls out in your trunk before you round, you don't realize till you need it. The lettering is always, it's always going to be there. It's a good grip point, and like I said, it just adds a little bit more consistency. Just one more little detailed routine piece that can help out. Just knowing where you're going to hold a disc.
Yep, and that's huge for us forehanders is having the same grip, and same way of holding it every time.
Right? Yeah. No. It definitely picking up another company. It's kind of hard at times. I mean, it depends on the brand. Certain brands feel a certain way compared to others, but it's just I just really like the consistency of it. Um, there's consistency in the discs, and there's also inconsistencies which are good. You'll get, if there's a run of stock Zeus's, you'll get some really dummy ones. You'll get some really flat ones. So you can throw 2 or 3 discs in the bag that are all the same that fly completely different.
Yeah. So as we're wrapping this up, you got any questions for me?
What's your go-to brand?
Oh, trilogy.
Trilogy. That
Yep.
makes sense. I haven't actually gotten my hand on too much Trilogy. I would love to try some. What's your go-to mold from them?
Oh well, it was the Saki Bomb Felon, but now that the intent is out and I have one, it's kicking those Saki Bombs right out.
Oh man. Yeah,
It's
no.
like that good. It's like,
It's
oh
that good, huh?
yes,
Oh, yeah, I
yeah.
gotta get one of those. When do those come out?
July 16th.
July 16th. Yeah, I need to see what this thing looks like. Hold on, let me intent first run. What's the side
It's
profile? Oh,
it's like flat. It's like perfect.
yeah, that's nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I'm gonna
mean
have to try
it's
one of those.
yeah, it's phenomenal.
What about for distance drivers? What do you throw for a distance driver?
For distance driver, if I'm forehanding, like I'll do a if I'm doing a flex forehand for distance, I'll take the Saki Bomb General. And then
Okay.
if I'm gonna do a hyzer flip distance, I'll take the Latitude 64 Grace just because it just glides forever. And then
Mm-hmm.
if I have to do a backhand, I'll just go with like a Northman because my backhand isn't that strong, so I can't like my arm speed isn't up to getting like a 11, 12, or 13 to fly correctly. So I'm kind
Mm-hmm.
of stuck at the 9 or 10 speed. So the Northman flies pretty good for my backhand.
Nice. Let's see what else. I had one question. This one was going to be an interesting one. I like to ask this to a few people. So you host this podcast. You talk to disc golfers of all kinds. Different throwing styles, different this, different that. What's I'd say one or two things that you found that a lot of people have in common or say a lot.
That a lot of disc golfers came from Ultimate before disc golf. Like everyone I
Mm.
talked to is like, "Oh, I played Ultimate. I played Ultimate." It's like, dang, did I miss that bus? Because I feel like I'm the only one who jumped into disc golf that didn't play like a disc frisbee or disc sport beforehand.
No, Ultimate was not like huge for me. It was just a way mm, to hang out, and then it was like, oh, it's fun, but these people are like, wow, y'all are good at this. Like, the only thing I had going for me was I was fast. So
Yeah, like I came over from running track and 5Ks. Like how I got into disc golf, people are like always like, "How did you go from running to getting into disc golf?" I'm like, "It just happened. I don't know."
see, do you get a lot of people who play baseball as well? That's another one I noticed with a lot of the pro players that I've been around is they have a baseball background.
Yeah, a lot of guys in my local scene come over from baseball, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I pitched, I did this, I did that." It's like, "Oh wow, okay, I'm way behind then."
Right. No, I've seen baseball translates a ton. Like batting, pitching, all of that can just influence it so well.
Yeah, which is really funny because people will see me throw my forehand, and the way that I throw looks like I've played baseball, but I've never touched a baseball before in my life. So
Yeah, no, I don't know too much about baseball. My stepson, I helped my wife coach his baseball team this last year, and that was my first time really around baseball. So I got a little bit more appreciation for it. I still like, hockey and even watching disc golf better, but it's cool to see. And it's cool to see like, how those like small opening your hips and stuff when you're batting can make such a big difference in the power you get behind a bat.
yeah. So any more questions?
No, I mean, do you discraft guy at all? You collect it all? You got any collections?
Nope. I'm 100% trilogy. Always have been.
Oh man.
Never
Well,
tried anything else.
never tried anything else.
Nope.
Who is your top three people you want on the show?
Top three people I want on my show or have been on
Yeah,
my show.
on your show.
I definitely want to get Gannon Burr on here because that would be like amazing. Like I said, I have so many questions for that guy. Like it would be amazing. And then I also want to get Ricky Wysocki on because I'm a big Ricky fan. So sorry, Paul, you Paul fans, but I'm a big Ricky fan. I just like it how he gets so into it and gets so amped up. It's like, yeah, I understand that. Like that's pretty cool how he plays the momentum thing. And
Hmm.
then if I could get Own on from FPO, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a good top three.
Yeah.
So who? Okay, okay. Final question. Who is your Mount Rushmore for disc golf?
Oh, I
Classic
really
question right here.
I really don't know because like the pro tour I'm still getting into. Like last season was like the only somewhat I watched half the season. I was like, "Oh, this is actually pretty cool." So I really don't know too much about like the pro tour. So I kind of feel like it's kind of a disadvantage for me to answer that because I really don't know that many people.
Hmm. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I've got for right now. Unless you have
That's
anything else you wanted to know.
the final question I have for you is what are your goals for this season and how can people follow you?
A great way to follow me is my disc golf Instagram, which was shouted out on your story and is maybe going to be shouted out again. I'm not sure.
Yep.
H Hegler underscore DG. That's a great way to find me. Um, my goal for the rest of the year, like I said, I'm kind of in a not really a slow spot, but I'm just taking time to adjust in this new life for me. I got some big tournaments coming up. I'm really looking forward to getting back into, competing. I got a few A tiers here and there. A couple of them are for maybe USDGC spots if I pull off miracle rounds. Um, yeah, no, my goals are just to, play to what I know I can do. It's easy to take some time off and come back and kind of lose the passion if you have a bad round here or there. But I know how I'm capable of playing. I know that no matter what my rating is, I know what level I'm capable of playing at because I've seen it and other people have. So to me, I wouldn't say I have a rating goal too much. I just have an expectation for myself where I can be playing, and it's to meet that expectation when I get on the course.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on tonight.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me. I've enjoyed it.
Have a good night.